Let's talk about what that beginning first job may look like. I know we all have ideas of what a virtual assistant is and what they do, but let's talk about what that beginning first job really looks like. There is a lot of vagueness with the term VA, and VA is basically anyone doing any kind of work remotely, assisting the business in any kind of capacity. Now, here in this group, we are learning digital marketing tasks. This is not your, admin role, although just as important and necessary in a business. We're not talking about being an executive assistant here or a personal assistant. Those are things you can learn how to do somewhere else. But you are going to bring your common knowledge of working in an office, working on computers, working in inboxes. You are going to bring that to your job. Like you need that. You need to be able to work in Google, Microsoft, figure out platforms, inboxes, and do all of that. So I'm not discounting that, but I'm just saying what we're learning here in this group is to be that digital media specialist, that digital marketing assistant, so you can move on up the rank. It's such a funny little world that we live in, because I've had people come to me saying like, I was already doing this work and I didn't know I could get paid for it. I'm like, yes, yes. Business owners are overwhelmed and they need help. And a lot of the digital marketing world is this gray area between being able to execute the task and do that implementation skill, make it happen, and bringing strategy to the table. So when I say digital marketing specialist, I'm talking about that person in that gray area, that unicorn. And the beauty of this type of work is you get promoted, you get to move beyond being an assistant with this type of business. But we're painting a picture of like where this could go for you. And for many people, they get invited once they get in and do some of the work, they do end up being invited to be a permanent member of the team. The client wants to hire you and keep you on board and groom you and nurture you and find a place for you on the team as they add more contractors and more teammates. It's a beautiful place for somebody who wants to keep things, I'm going to say simple, meaning one client, because early on you can be juggling many clients and you can be trying to figure out how to switch from project to project. So cementing your place on a team is one way to go. That happened with me working for Jennifer Allwood for 6 years. I was asked to be on her team, and for me, there was something bigger I was meant to do. And that was a difficult decision because it's so fun to watch someone grow their business and be an integral part of that, right? It's so fun to be the team player, to be the person who's making things happen behind the scenes. Business owners like need our help and they can't do it all, but I love contributing in that fashion. I love having meaningful work. I love constantly growing and learning new things, and the world is really your oyster after that. You can do so much once you have these skills. It's a true benefit of this type of work. So you can get on somebody's team. You can also really niche down and start charging a premium for your services. If you get really good at that one thing, maybe it's a couple things like the unicorn mantra. Like for me, I can do quiz funnels. I get to combine a little bit of digital marketing skills from graphic design to tech automations to website and a little bit of copywriting. I can combine all of that into one package and I can charge a premium for it. I get booked out with just that service. And that's in its own way simple too, because now you only do a couple different tasks and you do them really well. And when you can get to that point, you can start charging very lucratively. You get beyond the hourly wage, right? You get beyond the retainers, and you can start charging a premium for your projects, right? And then sometimes you can choose like which client you work for next. Do you want to stay on with them and help them in another capacity? Because if you have a love of learning, like that's going to happen because you're going to be coming to the tables with ideas for them. You don't always have to take on the work, but it's there for you when you want to. I encourage you to listen to our podcast or search for the episode we did with Sarah Massey about day rates, because being able to charge $3,000 to work with you in the day and you can get your stuff done and you become really good at what you're doing, like that is definitely an end goal for a lot of people. And that can be creative. That could be someone who's an organizational OBM type who can get in there and clean up the back end of a business when it comes to SOPs and organization and workflow. You don't just have to be a creative to make that model work for you. That is one option as well. So doing the freelancer path or becoming part of a team. The team thing can be great because you can start getting a salary. It doesn't mean you have to work full-time hours, but you could get to that salary level, or you just have a wage, an agreed upon salary or wage that makes you feel good for what you're providing. So those are two very different ways of doing things. And then the third way is to eventually, maybe you start subcontracting, maybe you have an agency, maybe you start handing off tasks to your own assistant to get off your plate so you can work on higher level things. You can start training people. You can take on more clients that way, and you can scale that way as well. You'll hear boutique agency. Like you come in with the strategy and then you have people to help you execute it. A lot of marketing agencies begin this way. You start to learn what your zone of genius is and bring on other people to complement you. That is a really good way to go. So that's the third way. And then the fourth thing that's going to surprise you in all of this is you will have an opportunity to set up your own scalable digital products. I know I have a course. It is a lot of work, but you can find ways to make passive income. Not saying it's easy, not saying it happens overnight, but as you do this for your own clients, you're going to realize I can't help everyone as much as I like to and have a good heart. How can I help others? Maybe you find a way to help business owners work with you in a way that is affordable for them, in a way that doesn't require your one-on-one time. That could be through a group coaching program. That could be through templates you've created, systems you've created, courses and workshops you've created. All of that could be a possibility. And that could apply to anybody doing anything. The hard thing about that is it does require growing an audience. But if you're getting well known and building a reputation, that could really work well for you. So let's talk about what those first jobs look like if you become a digital marketing specialist. One of the first things I say the business owner should hand off is sending out the emails. Every business owner needs to be sending out a weekly email, and it can be very time consuming to write it, format it, segment it, do all of the tagging and automations inside the email service provider. So that's something you can hand off to a VA, which requires you to know their email service provider. It requires you to know sophisticated tagging. It requires you to understand their audiences. Who do you exclude? How do you do opt-outs? How do you tag people when they click on things and open things? Maybe you score them. So all of this advanced email marketing is a way for you to get your foot in the door. And it starts with just that basic weekly email. Hey, I released a podcast, go look at this. Or maybe it's a Facebook Live reminder. Maybe it is a blog. Maybe it is a podcast that your client was a guest on. Sometimes the emails don't even have to have a call to action. Just to show up weekly, being top of mind is very important for business owners. You guys all saw Facebook go out, WhatsApp, Instagram all went out, and all those email marketers and business coaches were reminding you that email is king. You've got to have that email list nurtured and engaged. And so bringing on somebody with like you who has learned these things inside the crash course, you can easily help them with this. And then you kind of cement yourself, because when it comes to any kind of launch or any kind of sophisticated like lead magnet, creating the lead magnet, the email catcher, that's going to be all you. That's going to be like your kitchen. And you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, especially when it comes to email service. So it can start with just 2 hours a week of you formatting the email, putting in the images, the links, and all of that. Because it's not always, this is so stupid, but it's not always cut and paste, copy and paste from a doc. Like the formatting gets screwed up. Like it can't be easy. But that's 2 hours that you save a business owner some time. And then, as you grow up, specialists, coordinators, we become managers. We become into that consultant strategy level. You start bringing ideas to the table, helping your clients plan out their content ahead of time, write their content, batch edit it. Maybe you're working with other contractors who help you with those emails. You get smarter and you get more aware. You start tracking the data. You start seeing what's working, what's getting clicks, what isn't, and you start coming to the table with suggestions. You've already cemented yourself into like that next level marketing manager. When you start reading data, when you start tracking it, when you start coming with ideas and strategy, you're golden. You're golden. And you get out of that assistant level. The fun thing about email marketing, everybody needs help doing it, and you're always testing. You're doing your A/B tests, you're testing subject lines, you're seeing what kind of content sticks. So you've got to be paying attention. Another thing that you can easily take off your client's plate once you understand the bigger implications of social media strategy and how things work is scheduling on social media. And I don't mean jumping directly to being a social media manager where you're trying to come up with content to post 4 days a week. I don't mean that. I mean taking your clients' planned posts and scheduling them into their planner. It could be as easy as Facebook Creator Studio. It could be something like Sprout Social, like so many different. It could be Planoly, Later, any of those programs that let you schedule out social media posts. And those are great because it does help you show up consistently for your clients and plan ahead. Most of them are struggling in this field. Social media isn't easy, not at all. And you can get started by doing the scheduling work, the research work, helping with the graphics and the photos. And then you work your way up, just like we talked about email marketing, where you're coming up with strategy, where you're paying attention to what's working and reporting data. Everything I talked about when it comes to the email side of things applies to social media. Clients need help researching hashtags and finding out what's working and what's not. What's the best time to post? Like all of that data, you can help and you can gradually, you can promote yourself and become the social media manager. And social media, a lot of it is repurposing content that your clients have already used. So you're going to start seeing it as you get in their business. You're going to see emails that you can extract from, past blogs, past YouTube videos, past podcast interviews that you can repurpose and use on social that help your clients build their audience. You know, it's not just about social media numbers. It's not about the vanity metrics. It's about having an engaged audience that likes your content and they're warming up. So when your client does have something to offer, they are ready to buy, and they're very clear on what your client does. So those are two things that are really easy to start with that clients need help with. They also need help with their basic website updates. Like if you have any inclination for getting on the back end of a website, being able to format blogs, do SEO, make basic landing page changes, even create landing pages for a lead magnet, for somebody when they want to put their email in and they get a freebie. That is all very much in high demand. That's not saying you're going to come out of this crash course being a funnel designer. You're not going to come out of the crash course being a copywriter, but you're going to have the basics to get these jobs where you actually do the work and you promote yourself from within by taking on more and more, by helping the clients, by paying attention to the data and the strategy. I love blogging. It was such a easy and safe way to get started, whereas social media is very visible for, it's like you post it and like everyone will see your mistake. I liked blogging because you could work ahead of time. It never felt like a fire, right? It wasn't like this do or die situation. And I liked blogging because it opened the doors and you could directly track the money you're making. Like social media can be hard and there's a way to do it, but blogging was fun because you can see this organic traffic building the more your clients blog. And I really like it. I liked helping my clients do that. And I wasn't doing the writing, guys, but I am formatting it so it looks good on a website. So it can be easily skimmable. So the reader knows what to do next. And inside my digital media via crash course, I teach you what needs to go in that blog, how to optimize it for SEO, the 6 things that need to go in every blog to make it worth your client's time. You bring this to the table, and I'm telling you, you become that indispensable unicorn that we're always talking about, that teammate. Those are all 3 starter things that you can do out the gate that have nothing to do with admin. Okay. And then if your clients need help talking with their customers in their inbox, coming up with SOPs, planning out a project, like you can step up in that because you are one of those people who you are curious, you're ready to do the next thing, like you'll adjust on the go, you don't mind helping out, you're always ready to take action when there's something that needs to be done because you're a team player. Like that's what these business owners want. They don't want to have to hold their new hire's hand every step of the way. It's a very specific behavior, mindset, personality trait that's going to do well in this type of role because it is a little bit of a Jill of all trades. And that can be temporarily, but getting started, that's like the biggest benefit you can offer is that willingness to help. Another task that business owners always need help with is managing their Facebook groups. Granted, the algorithm is kind of tanking like what we see in groups lately, but showing up consistently in the groups, moderating, gathering email addresses, collecting testimonials, all of that I have inside the crash course, how to be that next level VA, how to turn yourself into that digital marketing specialist, knowing about the bigger picture strategies that are happening with Facebook groups. It's not just about collecting people, right? It's about keeping an engaged group and of the right people and getting them to interact, build community, and also how do you use it for your business outside of Facebook? For instance, when Facebook goes down, we're actually seeing a lot of groups moving off of Facebook. So being able to understand that and some options of where to go is pretty critical right now too. I keep my groups on Facebook because that's how we get our clients. Like my ideal student is already on Facebook and already somewhat Facebook savvy, has probably already managed a group for a school, for Girl Scouts, for the PTA or something, for, their own personal um, friends groups or recipe swaps or workout groups, like they're already active in that. So it makes sense for me. So those are entry level digital marketing jobs. You don't need a marketing degree. Anything that you learned 10 years ago at the university is already outdated. They can't keep up with the things that are actually happening. And you need to have that big picture vision of how things fit together because that's what the client really needs. If they're going to get someone who can just do the work and do it and have like very clear SOPs how to do things, they're going to pay minimum wage for that stuff, guys. It's just what the market demands. There are plenty of people who can be told what to do and can do it. What I'm teaching you here is to step up into that specialist zone so you quickly become the marketing manager, so you become the consultant, the strategist, all in one. And it starts with these basic tasks that you might be like, oh, I think I could do that. I'm sure you could. I'm sure because you're here in this group, like you're a good go-getter and you're hungry for it and you could totally figure it out. The beautiful thing about taking a course, whether that's something specific or that's my digital media crash course, is you get the step-by-step how to do things. You learn from someone who's done it before you and you kind of take out that guesswork and those mistakes and that fear of what do I not know, because it's a really big in this space because it's so dynamic, things are changing all of the time. It's really hard to, you can't, it's impossible to know what you don't know, right? So a course can really absolutely get you there. So think about where you want to go and what you want to be and align yourself with other people doing it, a mentor ahead of you who has done it successfully and actually does the work, and then build that network where you can get those clients too, because the clients don't just drop into your lap. You do have to work for it. You don't just take a course and get clients. So find a place that is sharing job opportunities, that's referring you, that's building a network so that can help you, but you're still going to have to do the work when it comes to your own visibility. And I'm talking your own social media, your own website, your own nurturing, lead generation.